Philip Clark here at Wizard World LA. I'm here with Kody Chamberlain, who is an artist. What else do you do, Kody? Are you mainly an artist, illustrator?
I'm an artist and a writer.
And a writer?
I usually pencil, ink, and color all my own stuff. Some exceptions, depending on the deadlines.
That's cool. And now, what are your current projects?
Some of them I can't talk about, but this is the one we're really pushing. It's punk. This is a create-your-own book we're doing through digital webbing and probably creating an imprint for. It's a punk rock comic done in the style of punk rock flyers. It's all done with a blade and a glue stick.
Very cool.
Anywhere in the comic, and the Photoshop is only for the colors.
So you're doing a lot of mixed media?
It's all photocopies on this one, yeah.
Wow.
A blade and a photocopier and a glue stick. And it's written by Josh Fialkoff, and I'm doing all the art. And we got a one-shot coming out in July from digital webbing. It'll be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Nice. Now, how long have you been illustrating?
I started professionally right around 2000, 2001 on Bloodsucker Tales. A few minor projects, Sherman Danger, through digital webbing also. That was my first big one.
How long have you been studying art? Where'd you study?
I started drawing my senior year in high school, so I got a pretty late start. I was a graphic design major in college, and I had to take drawing classes, which, you know, I wanted to also, but I had fun with it. It was a blast, so I stuck with it. 3-4 years later, I finally started to get serious about sending work out, things like that. It took me even longer to start getting work, but that's kind of how I got started. My degree is a BFA in advertising and design, so lots of drawing, painting, sculpture, all throughout college. Evening figure drawing sessions, always drawing, sketchbooks everywhere, so that's kind of the education. Below college, a lot of life drawing, a lot of buying books.
Nice. Who'd you say your influences are?
Oh, wow. Too many.
Just cite a few.
You know, the usuals, Will Eisner, Frank Miller, everyone says those. Tom Coker, Jason Alexander, Mike Mignola, more and more. You know, I've always been a fan of his stuff, but I've been studying him a lot more, really breaking down what he's doing. Dave Gibbons, all the greats. John Buscema, big John Buscema fan.
Nice.
Bill Sienkiewicz, who is not sitting here right now.
Who should be? Was he here yesterday?
Yeah, he was here Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
I'm sure he's coming in.
Now, you have a really good sense of layout and design in your panels. How did you go about finding that? Is that something that comes out in a script? How do you go about laying out your panels, your pages?
For me, the important part is to read the script and then just think about it for a while. If the scene takes place in a room or a street, I try and create a visualization of that in my head of what's going on. I go take a walk on the street, shoot photos, get a feel for what's going on, you know, what elements are there. From there, you know, if I need to shoot reference, I shoot reference. On Beowulf, I'm doing no reference. So it kind of depends on the project and what's needed. And you know, I think the main thing on the composition side is to work it until it feels right.
Now, for those of us that don't know what reference is, can you describe what reference means to a comic book artist?
Well, there's several different ways of doing comic book art. One of those ways is just to create everything from your head, from your memory, which I do. I'm doing a comic. I'm doing a 96-page graphic novel that way. The other way is to shoot reference if you want to censor reality in the work. So what I usually do is I have a digital camera in my studio. If I'm doing a weird pose or a weird position, I go stand in front of the camera with the time delay and I shoot it. And from there, I pull it up on my computer screen on my drawing table and I draw it from the screen. Sort of like you'd be drawing from life. You'd have a model in front of you. That's the way I work with that. Sometimes you shoot the reference just to see what it is, and when you're working on the page, you don't even look at it. You know, it's just to sort of get the visual capture in your head, and then go from your head. And the other way is just to kind of observe the world and try to remember as much as you can and pull from that. So, different artists do different ways. There's some artists that literally take the photograph and trace the actual photograph, you know, and that's cool too. It all depends on what look you're going for. And
there's kind of a moratorium on that at Marvel Comics now, isn't there? Yeah. There's a little too much of that going on.
I think there's a moratorium on doing it from actors who protect their identities.
Right.
I think that's bad. Using other people's photography, I think, is, you know, a little on the shady side, because that's also a creative work you're using. So I'm a big fan of, if you're going to use reference, shoot it. take your own reference, compose your own lighting, your own settings, because the composition that's important to comic books is hard to pull from other people's work. You're no longer in control of what things look like. So there are times when you can't shoot a photo of something. If you need the Statue of Liberty and you live in South Louisiana like I do, I can't just fly out to New York and snap that photo. So there are times when you have to pull something, and it happens fairly often, but anytime I can shoot reference, I do it. If I can't, I'll either create it from my imagination or use something online, or call a friend. I have a friend in New York that chats and does some stuff for me.
Nice.
So it kind of depends on what you need. Sometimes you don't need it at all. If you're going for a less realistic look, you can just pull from your memory and the things around you. You don't necessarily need to shoot reference.
Now, comics aren't a hugely profitable medium at this point. Maybe for artists a little bit more, but I know there's a lot of feast and famine. What makes you want to stay in comics?
I like comics because it's a very pure art form. If the artist and creator chose to, you can create a concept, a story, produce all the art, letter it, color it, publish it, and get it into the reader's hand exactly as you intended it. So from me to you is an idea and a concept, and you can read it. There's very few art forms like that. Writing novels is like that, but very few visual art forms, storytelling art forms are that way. It doesn't happen in television, it doesn't happen in film. There are so many people involved, so many middlemen, creators pulling in different directions. You may still end up with a good product, but rarely is it a complete vision for one person. So that's what I like about it, and the creative control, the various applications and ideas you can pull in. Like on this, I'm doing a lot of graphic design work because there's no drawing. So it's all old school cut and paste graphic design work on that comic, the old flyer creation. That's tough to do in a film. It's tough to do in a novel. So there are unique elements to comic books that you can't get anywhere else. It pulls everything into one medium, and it's nothing like it.
Now, are you doing your comic book work 24/7? Do you have a day job? I mean, what's paying the bills right now?
I own a graphic design studio in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's my name, Kody Chamberlain, graphic design. So that's been the bread and butter for years. As of about 3 months ago, I'm finally drawing full-time, or close to full-time. I still have clients I have to service. You can't just get rid of those guys. You got to take care of them. So
yeah.
I still have a client base I take care of. I have 2 designers in the studio that do a lot of that work now. Design pays a lot better than comics, but at the end of the day, when you go home, you don't own it. You make a logo for company A, they own it. At any point in time, if they want to, they can change it, they can scrap it, and do something else. So there's a disconnect with the graphic design work that is a little less pleasant than pure comic work.
Right. What advice would you have for guys that are up and coming that want to do comics or want to get into to creating comic books?
I think the advice would be to just study a lot. A lot of guys, I think, get trapped into their own ideas and their own vision, which is good. But if you're a young creator, you need influences. You need to study and learn. Like anything, if you're creating in a vacuum, your work is going to be limited. If you expose yourself to a lot of different things, not just comics, films, fine art, writing, I think any artist that can learn how to write is going to improve the art. Your storytelling is going to get better. Your dialogue placement, all the little things that writers take into consideration now goes into your work as an artist. That's why some of the all-time greats write and draw their own work. Frank Miller, Will Eisner, Mike Mignola. It's sort of a universal theme where the more you know about your craft, the better you're going to be at it. I would say drawing from comics is good, drawing from life is better. A lot of people only learn to draw from drawing books, and I don't think that's such a good idea because everything you're learning is coming through a filter. You're getting everything secondhand. You're interpreting someone else's interpretation. I think you can learn a lot from drawing books, but you can learn more from studying life. If you go out with a sketchbook, you can learn twice as much as recreating someone's drawing from their drawing book.
Awesome. So for people that want to learn more about your work and what you're publishing right now, where can they go?
Everything is always on my website, KodyChamberlain.com, and that's with a K, KodyChamberlain.com. And we also have a blog, a team blog with a lot of creators called CreatorDirect.com, and everyone chips in, puts a little article here and there. It's a fun blog, and I have the wiki and the MySpace and all that's on my webpage. You can get to it from there.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kody.
Yeah, thanks for letting me.